Alright boys and girls, and welcome back to another building video. This time we're coming back in with another 4x4. I still love to build these things. If I'm deeper than 4, I'm probably building a 4x4. I like my 4x4s to be nice and cheap, quick to throw down, and not too bad on the upkeep if we can avoid it. Now these bases are perfect for defending online raids, and this base is better than most. We've got the greatest shooting floor I could come up with, lots of retakes on every floor, an amazing roof, and an amazing compound. Everything just pieces together so nicely here. I love the OPENCORE as well. It's a really banging base. This base could fit teams all the way up from 5 to even 10 players, depending on what you guys are trying to build. But essentially, its main purpose is a 4x4. It doesn't cost too much to build at all, doesn't look too scary to avoid onlining, and it's going to get you guys some fun. I was able to test this build out on the most recent force wipe where the jungle biome dropped, and me and the gang had a good blast out of it, and we were able to get ourselves a nice little online raid defense too. Unfortunately, I wasn't really on for it because I'd already started a new snowball, which will be getting uploaded to the channel very soon. I've been slacking on the PvP videos. The content did not come so easy. But the next vid that drops is going to be a bang, so stay tuned for that. And we're in with a tour of the brand new 4x4. So of course I'm rocking the brand new jungle skin that just dropped. Very nice little update indeed. We've already tried out this base on the force wipe, and it went pretty well for us. We did get a little raid defense, but it came later than expected, so I wasn't really on for that one. But overall, the base held up pretty nice for what it is. This is my new cheap 4x4. It's my go-to if I have a squadron that maybe does not want to farm so hard, or if I'm looking to get the base up in speed, and this is going to be my go-to pick. Mainly, my favorite part would have to be the shooting floor. Once we get up there, you guys will see it's just too good. The angles are very tight, very defender-sided, and the compound is pretty spectacular too, but we'll see. Overall, we got 4 externals, and this is just the standard free-handed bunker, and it's disconnectable too as well. We open up the bunker just with a little twig roof, and if you're not comfortable with free-handing, you can leave it out for these externals. But this is a free-handed 4x4, and you'd be looking to be decently confident with free-handing, as we're going to do things a little bit differently in this one. But of course, if you're not and you're looking to learn, the Discord is the best place to go for that. Boys and girls, the new Patreon launch was absolutely massive. And as the weeks go on, the value of this $5 subscription will only increase as we add more and more bases for you to all enjoy. There will be a multitude of different group sizes, just like the channel. And it also includes the best base in the game that I've once again had an amazing raid defense inside of that I'll be posting very soon. Copying the Patreon helps to support the channel, and it gives you guys access to even more bases on a private scale. Also, feel free to join the Discord where you guys can get some help, have access to my settings, and if you'd like to go for a more premium product, you can get your very own custom base design with all your own features and desires, only to be used by you and your team. These builds are very well received and the reviews are great, so consider dropping by the Discord and checking it all out. Cheers for listening to my little sponsor, guys. Appreciate y'all. 4 externals in total, and of course the main TC is inside the 2x2 in the core. We're coming in here with a nice new gatehouse. If you throw a DLC door on that, you're going to get maximum vision outside. Super nice. Great Patrico angles as we enter into our gatehouse. We can see angles down through into compound, which I just really love. And then we can also look behind the large furnace. And if I was to take out a high wall, you can see exactly how that's going to open up and give us a great head glitch angle. And our head is kept safe from the top half of the Patrico. That's on both sides, and it's just a really great angle for retaking compound and holding the breach as raiders begin to move in. Also, to showcase this compound, we can see that with the high walls gone, our turret is going to be watching behind that large furnace as people try to push up towards the base. We can also see a nice little seawall that's combined with a large furnace. That large furnace is going to take 5 rockets to take out. So if they do want to raid through compound, they're going to have to waste some boom on that. And then they're left with a seawall option that they can either blow or ladder over. And laddering over this is not going to be a fun job, while the rest of you guys play compound and shooting floor and all the angles we have to offer. Back inside compound though, I'll give you the rest of the tour through. We do have bedroom respawns in here. It's always nice to have, and we do get some retakes up outside of the base here. Watching through, you get a slightly different skin on there, and now we can actually look outside the base and down towards behind the back of the furnace. And again, you can imagine with the high walls gone what kind of angles this could be. A little look back up towards the base. That's our compound though, pretty symmetrical. The turret coverage is amazing, and of course that seawall large furnace combo is just too good, and it works super well in vanilla. Up here is a little bedroom tower. You can throw some net on that, but it might be better to make it hard to access. And you can throw some drop boxes up here, or the new shelf with a small box, or just keep it to one bed. And these are nice respawn kits here. Early game tower. You could also throw a windmill on here early game, and you would just need to leave it on a piece of twig. And once you expand to roof, you could break that windmill. But that's an option to get the windmill down early, which is not a bad idea if you're got the BPs and you're looking to get turrets down early. We have 2 entrances into the base, and you can see opening up the front door creates a nice little funnel section. So if they are blowing in from this area of compound, you can kind of seal things up just like so. And it's going to give you a little angle to play off too as well, which is nice. This is my standard kind of way in now. I throw this on the chase boxes and I throw it on my 4x4s now. It's genuinely just too good of an angle. I might go hunting for a little POV to show you guys how well this one works. But if you're inside the base, you're on a crouch angle here, and raiders are looking to come through and take the door path, there's just really nothing they can do. Heavy pot on this angle and you're going to be unkillable. This watches the door path nicely, and they do need to crouch to even register that you're there, which is really nice as well. Coming into the base now, let's take our jump ups into the core. I like this wraparound. It makes the shell feel a lot stronger. It's now more of a 2-wall kind of area, which feels a lot nicer. Of course, on the corners though, we don't have any honeycombs, so just keep that in mind. Shell. We can pack that with deployables. If you've copped the new jungle DLC, you can really fit some deployables in here. Again, this works well for chase boxes too. We get a little teaser at the inners that we have going on here. This is just my favorite inners. I actually got to use those today in a banger video that will soon be on the channel showcasing. But these inners work really well for me, and I find them very defender-sided. But yeah, great spots for deployables, good retakes onto our door path, retakes into our shell, and a jump up into starter. This is my standard 2x2 starter base. I think this is just the best I can come up with at the moment. There's nothing new I think I could do. So we wrap around, we get the stair bunker, we get the retake if the box is not here. You'll be able to watch people on the way down. So if they're coming through, you're going to get that retake there. Stair bunkers this section. Get beds, bags, boxes, everything you need. And I'll demonstrate the stair bunker for you now. That's how you would place the stair bunker, and that's just going to cover up, making sure nobody can get through this little gap here. Nothing they can do to break this bunker. Of course, if you're on console, unfortunately, you will not have access to this. It doesn't ruin the base. It's still a viable option on console, and it's just unfortunate that you guys don't get to use that one. But I am a stair bunker enjoyer, and I will throw it where it fits. We'll jump up now to our inners floor, and this is a bit of a bedroom section. You're going to want to get some beds here. New bunk bed method as well is just too cool. And we get some one-ways into our inner peak downs. We get one on the side here, which is a little bit more wide open. Honestly, the best thing to do from here is to either throw nades or HVs, as it is hard to put someone down who's running through here, as you're not going to be hitting any headshots at this level. You're purely going to be shooting toes. You can look over to this side as well, and if somebody's standing still, you'll be able to get them. But it's more just if you get any hit markers, it's going to make this area feel pretty unsafe for raiders, and they won't be running around in there. And your inner peak downs is an area that you would like to have. Coming out, this is the inners. Gives you an idea of the angles that we have in here. So kind of a more wide one here. You can HV through this with ease. Covers through. And then a slightly tighter one as well. This is great for when the walls open up on our shell and we can start spraying down with a slightly tighter angle. And this is quite hard to fire back at. With a bit of heavy pot, of course, you're susceptible to a bit of rocket PvP up here, but that's going to happen in an online raid scenario. Talking about retakes, our mobility chute also has retakes, and it's a nice one-way angle. It covers one half of the inners, and of course the other retake covers the other half. That's all we need for this floor now, though. Hopping up now to our open core level, we can continue up if need be. Both sides are going to take us to open core, and we've got a nice turret watching through as well. If you'd like your open core to feel a little bit more strong, then you could go ahead and just add a window here. But I do value the turret, and I think it makes it hard for players to push in if they're coming through from any of these sides. Now, I've gone for more of a open core. Gives you a lot more box space. It does feel very open. It does make some areas of the open core one wall. This is not an offline raid kind of base. Ideally, you're going to want to set up seismic sensors. You're going to want to have players online. You're building a 4x4, so you're expecting some kind of online raid. But this is the open core. I like to set it up like this. These would be your strongest boxes. So the valuable loot is going to go in these ones. Get an armored window and throw it on from underneath. That's the best thing you can do. Overall, nice open core, good turrets, and a lot of mobility going through here. While there may not be any definite retakes, you can still retake this area with all the mobility reaching it. From here, we can jump up to the single door, and that's on the opposite side as well. It's going to give us a retake on our drop down, and I can showcase that after. We can wrap through into a bedroom floor, and this is where you're going to want to stock the base. I would recommend having our flex vending machines up here. So if you are trying to bait that online raid, let's get some sulfur in here. Let's get some rockets and let the map know what we've got in the boxes. Opening it up, it all joins through. This is where you can retake your open core from. Lots of areas to drop down from. Stock this area up with beds, HVs, nades. These are the main raid defense kits. It's nice to have a lot of beds in one area like this, as not everyone can be bothered to set up raid defense kits, but at least one guy will do it, and hopefully he does it here so everybody can access it. From this area, we can also exit out onto shooting floor, and that's airlocked out as well, so you do have a bit of play space here, which is nice. Shooting floor, I really do love in this base. As I said, you do need to be comfortable with freehanding because we do things slightly differently. Normally, in a freehand like this, you'd be encouraged to back up towards main to reconnect it, but we do want some externals, so we don't back up and we allow this to be slightly off of the base, and a normal freehand is usually the same height. But for this one, we've opted to change the height ever so slightly to give us more angles and allow for a better shooting floor, in my opinion. Now, these are some of the downward angles, and you can see that they are super tight. You're going to be able to get a lot of coverage here watching behind the compound. This is a little bit more open, but overall, nobody's getting up close towards this base without you having a very nice angle on them. Same over here as well, just really good stuff. Little angle as well with the Patrico covering our head. Super, super nice. More Patricos wrapping around. This is a very annoying shooting floor. Even if you've got a nice big fob, there's not much they can do here except send rockets at it. Overall, great angles, and we can look back in towards compound as well from here too. If we need some far away angles, we can go ahead and use that here. You can either opt for the downward option on the new jungle peak, or we can go with everyone's favorite brutalist, and that's going to give us some wider out angles, and these are very anti-raid base as well. A couple of head covered downward Patricos too on this part, and a roof exit as well. Lots of mobility up to roof, but we won't take that for now. Shooting floor is complete symmetrical, wraps all the way around. We get great angles here, and of course you want to place these doors so we don't have any gaps that people could use against us. I'll go ahead and take the main mobility up to roof because that's going to show our retake potential as well. So we drop down from here. We are coming in from the roof. We got a retake here from the beds. And then if we're dropping from here, you've got a retake from OPENCORE as well, watching that top-down path. And then once we're up here, we have a nice retake onto roof and some one-ways to play off of. If you throw a bed down here, you'll get a better angle. I've just got a mixing table for now, but that's going to give us an idea of who's on roof. We can ankle bite them, get them a bit scared, and then key up and frag them. Lots of ways out onto roof. Nice 4 turrets here covering everything, which is perfect. Couple of vendies for actually selling things, and then we repeat the angles from shooting floor, giving us great crouch Patrico angles, a little bit more downward up here as well, and overall a very, very nice roof with a lot of annoying angles for raiders to deal with. Opening up this door seals up the gap as well. And overall, this is a banging 4x4. It served me and my team amazingly this force, and I'm sure it's going to serve you guys too. Now I'm going to go ahead and break down the total cost of this base. First of all, on screen is the total build cost. Promise, this is reasonable for a 4x4, guys. These things are not cheap, and I would consider this to be a cheap one. Second up is that build cost in box amounts to make things easier to visualize. And lastly is the total upkeep spread between 5 TCs, and the main TC is holding the majority of that upkeep. And I know that's a hefty upkeep as well, but I promise this is normal for 4x4s, and this is on the cheaper side. Now that we've gone all that out the way, I'm going to go ahead and break down how to build this one for you, so stay tuned. All right, we'll get into the build tutorial now for the 4x4. We're of course going to be starting off with the 2x2, and you could just build a 2x1 or even a 1x1 depending on how down bad on the mats you are. But there we go, that's the starter base, nothing too crazy. TC needs to go on the opposite side of the inner wall if you're going to be setting up for stair bunker later, so keep that in mind. But that is a build spot claimed. Boom, boom. We do not have an entrance on the first floor, so let's just wall it all in. And then we do my kind of weird tech here. Boxes underneath. Single door on the way out. You have the hard side facing up towards like this. Single door on the right. Close this all in. Give it a floor. Give it a ramp. Beautiful. Boxes in there. That ramp can be placed at any point, by the way, and you don't even need it. It's just there. Then we have our retakes on the left and right, like that, and the jump up to third over here. Again, you could throw a ramp there too. It's probably overkill, but it's just for box placement. Then you have a door in between, wall in front of our drop down, and then a double door to exit out to shell. And you can just have this for getting in and out, just like that. I like to go all the way to third, If I'm able to throw some beds down, then I will. So we just wall that in there. Half wall on top. That's going to be our exit out. Just like that. And we do get an airlock to play off of. And that's pretty much going to be your angles for now. And you can add floors here. And walls here. You can throw your beds on. Now, this looks a little bit dodgy. They can see in here, but these floors are part of the base. So just throw those down now, and then they can't use this window against you. There's no, like, I know I'm flying, that's so I can see inside, but they can't do anything now when this is down like this. So you're chilling. And that's what we got so far. I'm just going to bring around the rest of the footprint because this looks weird. So that's our full 4x4 down now, which is nice. You can add the half walls on every section too. There we go. Same with this, I'm just going to bring it out because it looks weird. Now you have crazy shooting floor downward angles. Look at this. Next stage that I would like to do is at least get one wall around the shell so we can hear people laddering up. So we need to, it's important the way this sets up, by the way. The base is two-sided on the shell, but it's important to follow it as I do. So exiting from the front door, this is going to be one of our ways into the base. And the opposite one will be on the opposite side. So you window, wall, like that. Set up like this. The half wall window is for the retake. Just keep that in mind. Very important. And then you'll need to build up the jump up with the Patrico in front. At a bare minimum, just like this. And I'm just doing this as cheaply as possible to get to a defendable stage as quickly as possible. So I'd set it up like that. And then I would door in here, float this so that we can have this used against us. And then the rest of the shell is just flat walls, nothing crazy going on. These triangles are spare. I didn't end up doing anything with them in the actual thing, but if you want, you could make battery spots, single doors, wall it in. But if you just go for flat walls, then it's much cheaper to seal your shell early on. And if you're in a snowball, and there's a chance that you're going to be getting raided pretty soon, it's nice to get to this stage pretty fast. As for the corners, I'll go ahead and show you how to do that now. It's just a frame at the top, so everything gets a frame. And then down below, we're raising up frames. We're adding half walls on top of those, and we're sealing in both. You could throw boxes up here or something, but I just prefer the honeycomb. As this one side here is going to be one wall on the corners, so it's a little bit of honeycombing in the center there, which hopefully will stop any tall raid bases from looking too deep in here. And that's where the half walls come into play. So if this is kind of breached, you can play off here a little bit. You've got a nice stand spray angle to work with, and then you can hopefully get a seal off potentially. You can also raise these up, extra stab as well, and if you decide to divide with doors throughout the shell, this gives you the option to do that too. And it's also nice to have jumping going on in the shell here. So it gives you guys, the base owner, at least some footsteps to play off of, and you know where people are in the base. You don't have to be swinging any angles, not knowing what's going on. Up on the inner's floor now, the low wall is going to face towards the door side, like this, so that we get this angle here, looking on the jump up. So do that. Low walls are lining up with each other. Same again. Beautiful. And then the ramp is going the opposite way. So it's low wall, looking in here, and ramp, like that. Pretty important to set it up actually like this, and you'll see why. As that just gives us the best angles possible, so that's what we're looking for. We can also go ahead and rush sealing this up too. I wouldn't worry about the chutes, those can be kind of expensive, but if we can just get this whole area boxed in, that would be pretty nice. And seal that up. And then we're good here. We have inner peak downs, which would make the base pretty defendable, in my opinion. If it's more of a wipe day, you might be more inclined to rush externals and get more of the build spot claimed before anyone can potentially grief you. So you might want to do that first, and that's completely up to you. Once you've practiced the base a bit, you can build it in any order that works for you. But for now, I'm getting the inners down, And I'm playing out of a little box just in case anyone comes to online me, as I'm more of a snowballer than a wipe day player. But do it in the order that works best for you. We'll go ahead and raise up these mobility chutes now so we can actually use them, but there's no rush on these. We need a half wall here for the one-way. Then our jump up's in the center. And we'll be jumping up one more time for OPENCORE 2, so keep that in mind. And you can just raise this up so we can actually access our roof. And I would just seal that at the top so nobody can come in. And that works for me. I'll bring this one up too. Pretty simple mobility chute. The only confusing part is right here on the half wall, low wall. And that's for our one-way. You want to rush Embrasure as quickly as you can. It's going to seal up any of the weaknesses in this base, and it's also going to allow you to use some of the most overpowered angles that this build has to offer. So the quicker you can get an Embrasure down, the better. The ones that I'm talking about ideally are these ones. You place the faraway one first, or you can place it from here if you're having trouble too. Again, another OP angle down here. You can see why Embrasure is nice and OP early on. And we also get the Mainbase retakes as well. You can place those from underneath, or you can place them from on the jump up or inside core. And now we have our one-way setup, which is just so overpowered, and there's not really much people can do against those. Alright, we need to go ahead and throw down some of the shooting floor before we do our freehands, because the freehanding is the part where things can go wrong. On the side where there are no mobility chutes, we need to leave this decently open. And by that, I mean we need to place this triangle, but still leave room for this square. So we're going to go ahead and just add walls on this to connect it to main, making sure it doesn't go anywhere. And then we can do the build out for our gatehouse. It's a quick square out, wrapped in triangles like this, making sure we leave space for the square here still. And then the gatehouse finishes off like that. We're just going to build this one up so that we can connect the gatehouse nice and easy. And I'll build the gatehouse now so that we're ready to rush compound. Simple little gatehouse like this. And we want to connect this to main. Just like that. This is going to be part of our shooting floor as well, but we're not adding any further triangles just yet. We need to leave space for our freehanding. So we're going to do this on the other side as well. And then we'll also do it on the other two sides too. So we're coming out to the center here. We're taking that away so that we still have space to work. Raise it up so we have something to connect this to. Come out with a square. Line it up with triangles, just like that. And then we build the rest of the gatehouse. Easy peasy. We're not going to do the whole gatehouse right now. There's still a bit more to do, but I'm trying to rush compound without spending all of the materials. So we're going to go ahead and do that on two more sides now. This side, you don't need to worry about the triangles. We just need enough room to come out from here on the side with no mobility chutes, so it's no biggie. Over here, we are safe to do it as we need. And just connect that back to main as we do. Perfect. One more to do, and then we can get onto some freehanding. And this is a nice new little gatehouse. It comes with some pretty solid turrets and patricos. And there we go. 4 out of 4 done and dusted. And we've left enough room to come out from here on the non-mobility side and bring this out for freehanding. So let's do some freehanding now. And this is going to be the most in-depth I've ever gone in a freehand. With the new kind of live commentary while I build, I feel like I'm able to explain this much better than normal. So we're going to come out with some twig. Try and match my graphics for now. We need high graphics if you're brand new to this for the crosshair placement. I'm going to bring out a gun and turn on the crosshair so you guys can actually see my crosshair. I do forget you don't see it sometimes. And I'm going to position my crosshair right here, where the two kind of white lines meet is a perfect spot in between the two low walls. It's important to mention that I'm not just standing anywhere on this foundation. I am slammed right into the low walls. I cannot go any further forward if I try. I'm placing my crosshair in the center here, and then this is the foolproof method. I'm going to press tab once my crosshair is in position, and you can see that I'm now safe to move my mouse. It is essential that we do not move our player model at all after placing the crosshair. It needs to stay exactly where we had it. That's where a lot of people can go wrong in freehands. Now that I'm in the inventory, my mouse is safe to move around, and I'm going to go ahead and just pick it up and hold it in my hand. IRL tutorial now. Now that it's in my hand, it's safe. There's no danger of us moving it. I can come out of the tab menu now. Mouse is still in my hand. It's nowhere near the mouse pad. And I can bring out my hammer, and I can hold right click. While holding right click, I can go back on the pad, and I can safely move my mouse around as much as I want. I'm going to move it towards the demolish, and then I'm going to pick it straight back up and left click. Once again, I'm going to right click, back down on the pad, straight back up, left click. Then I can swap over to our building plan, right click, we're safe to go down on the pad, up to square foundation, left click, and then I'm going to stand up. Once you stand up, usually you would back up ever so slightly, but we do not want to move at all. We're going to go ahead and just place the foundation without backing up whatsoever, and we'll confirm if that's done what we needed to do. So we've got an A stability of 79%. Unfortunately, that's not what we're looking for, so we're going to need to go again. We're looking for a stability of 70%. So we just give that another quick go. And this time I'm going to edge forward ever so slightly. So we place our low walls, we line up our crosshair, and we pick the mouse up after pressing tab. Right click, back down on the pad, back up. Right click, back down on the pad, back up. Right click, back down on the pad and back up. And this time I'm just going to crawl forward a tiny bit and then place the square while standing up. Now we'll confirm if that did what we needed to do. Beautiful. A stability of 70%. What does that mean? Now, a lot of people might not know. You can see that standalone foundation with a frame by itself is on 70%. Over here, it may appear that that frame is connecting with a wall. If it were, the frame would be on 77%. In this scenario, it is not. There's a bit of a gap here that is invisible to the eye, and that's what we're looking for. Essentially, we do not want this frame to have anything to do with this TC. The best way to confirm that is to check, add some high qual to the base. There's no HQM in here. Is there now high qual on this TC upkeep? No. That means that that entire section is not going to be upkept by this TC, and we can give it a TC all the way out there. That's what we're looking for, and that's what we like. There are a few other things to check. I know this is a little bit of effort, but I promise it's worth it. It's a very nice shooting floor. And the more you do it, the more comfortable you'll feel. You need to confirm that this frame is going to place, and it should without any issue. If it doesn't, that means that you did move your crosshair ever so slightly, or it means that you pushed forward far too much. You don't want a visible gap here, but you do not want this frame to connect. Double check it works on this side too. Beautiful, beautiful. All our frames are placed. How nice is that? Take these away for now because we don't need them yet. And the last thing to confirm is that you can place these floors with these floors underneath. And ideally, there's not a massive gap between them so that we get a nice angle. Hopefully, nobody's gotten too scared off from this. I've tried to take it nice and slow so that we all understand what's going on. But that's what we're looking for. Practice on a build server. You can do this on bad terrain. It's the same idea. It might be a bit scuffed in some areas, but just power through. I promise it's worth it. And I got this one down just fine in a not so particularly flat build spot, just this force wipe. We can upgrade everything now, and this is going to be our bedroom module. And we'll build that up so that we can start pushing for a compound. That's the bedroom module there. Super simple stuff. There we go. And we're going to build out for our external. 1, 2, 3 with a triangle, just like that. And we get the external. Beautiful. Now, I'm going to go in depth on this too, because I don't normally. There is a build out you can do on Basso's channel for freehanding our external TC bunkers. But the essential idea is we want to take this corner over here. I know you can't see my crosshair, but this corner over here at the top left, and clip it into the foundation over there, whilst leaving a gap on my close left here without clipping it. So we'll see how that looks. Looks like we do have a gap here. Beautiful. We are looking for a stability of 78 or 79%. If you remember from the prior lesson, 2 touching objects on a foundation are going to give us a stability of somewhere between 77 and 79%. If you were to add in a third wall, the stability would increase. This wall is surrounded in walls. This wall appears to be surrounded in walls, but it's still got a below 80% stability. That means that this side over here is actually providing 0 stability to this wall, which means there is a gap that is invisible to the eye here. That allows the roof conditional to work. You can see that it won't do that on this side. So that's what a free-handed bunker is. We're fully going in depth here, bro. So we open up our bunker, and we can rotate these back to cover up any gaps, and we can throw our TC inside. Next, we need to change this square to a triangle, because if we were to attempt to disconnect, you can see we run into issue. So a simple build out over here is going to change that to a triangle, just like that. This wall will stay, so don't worry. And now you can place this. After that, we open up the bunker, throw in a frame. Ran into an issue here. The frame is clipping to the wall. If you're underneath and the frame is refusing to go in the correct spot, try placing from above. And if you're above and it's refusing, try going from below. Essentially, we want this frame to be touching the triangle and completely ignore the wall. Once we've done that, we want to confirm that this roof places. If this roof is red, try placing from above. If it's still red, try making this wall a non-DLC skin. And if it's still red, it means that your gap down the left side is far too wide. Adding a floor here so that we have a barricade placement. And then we join it all up with frames. And you don't need these foundations to be there unless you're disconnecting. Now that we've done that on one corner of the base, we're going to do it on the remaining 3 sides. Beautiful. 4 out of 4. With a bit of luck, that wasn't too hard for everyone. And if you do have trouble, hop in the Discord. But I really can't explain it in text any better than I have just explained it here. Let's go ahead and get some high walls down and some large furnaces now. For the high walls, it's a pretty simple 2-wall seal. You can demolish high walls now, so we're not even going to go too in depth. Use your Alt key. Confirm that once you've placed one high wall, it looks about a second high wall gap. And it should line up just like that. Beautiful, beautiful. And that's going to leave more than enough room for a large furnace in here. Going around doing the exact same thing. High wall in. You're probably better off coming off from gatehouse and then connecting to bedroom in that order. That's just what makes more sense in my head. Boom. High walls are done. There's a good chance I did a little cut there to save you guys the effort of watching that. That's with no symmetry, by the way. Not too bad if I say so myself. Now we can throw our large furnaces in. You might want to place the seawall first. Just do it in twig if you want, so you can roughly see where that large furnace is going to sit, and it's give you guys a better idea on how easy it's going to be to access for you guys. So you can low wall on the back there and half wall on the front. It's going to give us arbitrary angles. Then you can half wall here. If you're on super low terrain and it looks like they can just jump right over, you could swap the half wall out with a window. It's up to you. It might defeat the purpose of the seawall a little bit if they can just leap over it. So just depending on terrain, that's a decision for you guys to make. But once all that's placed in, we can throw down the walls on the bedroom, and then we can throw our furnace in. You could do the furnace first if you wanted to rush it. I'm just wanting to make sure that the furnace is nice and easy to access for the team. So we just put it in prime location there, like that. And then they can come up, use the furnace. Ideally, get these industrials going. Hopefully someone on the team knows how to do that. It's certainly not my thing to do, but yeah, hopefully someone knows that stuff. And then we'll just place in all the furnaces and we'll wrap in all the bedrooms. I'm gonna just like fly for this. You get the idea though. It's all the furnaces down. And there we go. Furnaces are in. Somehow we've forgotten one. That's fine. All good. Furnaces are in. Of course, you want to place them nice and tall as well, so they're super annoying. The only thing left to do would be throw some frames on the back here for our chain link. I can show that. Really nice turrets here. I recommend getting that chain link down as soon as you can. You don't need to chain link on the front there. That's just for shooting floor. We're just dusting off that gatehouse so we don't need to come back and look at it again. Right, it's barricade time now, and the best thing to do for barricades is just to build some twig. Give yourself some room. Sometimes you won't be able to place those floors, and that's okay. You just have to work around it. But ideally, you've got all the space here. For this one, we're going to come out with an extra floor. Extra floor. Boom. Beautiful. Beautiful. Compound is done. Furnaces are down. Let's get some metal smelting and get our open core built. All right, continuing on with the build, we're going to wrap in all the squares to give us some space to build our open core. Like so. Towards our door, we're going to add in a wall and a half-height square inside of there, and we'll leave it open at the top. Over on this side, we don't do anything there. This is the vault core, so you can add in a half wall here. Bring through a triangle. You'll need to shut that door if you've got a red triangle like me. There we go. And then bring it back like that with a ramp facing up towards us. So that's for the vault core loot room like that. Door frame here, floor there. And it's the same thing again. We're throwing a half height inside of that and leaving it open at the top. Over here, nothing fancy. Over here, we're bringing a triangle through. Shut the door if it's red. Ramping that. Window, floor, door. Beautiful. Around the front, we're half walling for the mega loot rooms. And we're dividing down the center too. Over here is where you place a ramp with some boxes. And I have like repair bench here and such. On the mega loot room, we can add in some frames. And we can wrap it all in from the back. And it's just honeycombing on the top, like that. Then you can bring in a triangle and break it if you want. And bring that in too, for some shelves. And the same over here. And honeycomb. Over here is a turret. And over here is a jump up with a single door. Like that. Extra loot room here. Again, carrying the triangle through the wall. And you don't need to break this. Well, on this one you do. You can break that one, but you can leave triangles tucked inside the base if needed. Wrap the doors up here. The mobility chute stops at that level. Frames, frames, frames. Chain link for the turret. And that seals up. We do that over here now. Might have forgotten a ramp on this side. I didn't. Okay. Bring in the floors. And over here is a turret. And over here a jump up. Frames, frames, frames. Chain link on that turret. And floors in the middle. Beautiful. Then we can go ahead and wrap this up. We get boxes up here. And we wrap over towards the shooting floor. The door here. Window. That's a half wall window. Don't forget that. These are just walled in. Window here. Couple of flex vendies as well. You place that and then you can throw the window on. There we go. Make sure you got an airlock here onto shooting floor. We'll do that again. Boxes above. Doors to come out. Walls down. Door for shooting floor. Half wall and a window. Door out. Window there. Doors in between. Flex vendies go down. Beds in the middle of here. Then your window next to window. Doors and doors. Over here you can add another half wall window. And over here a wall. That's our jump up to roof. That's our retake on the drop down. And we can add floors along here. Get the beds in. Another half wall window. Wall here. Retake. Like this. Then we can just wall this in. frame there, half all these up, and we exit out like that. We can get an airlock. Boom. Lovely, lovely. Place the embrasures from underneath. And we have some one-ways onto roof. Boom, boom. Same again. Single door out. Wrap that in. Could give it this if you want. More boxes, up to you. And place those embrasures from underneath. Now that we've done that, I think we are ready to raise up some frames for shooting floor. We're also completely missing honeycomb here, so we can add that in. All the way up now. We don't use these triangles for anything except to honeycomb the base. When building, you would ideally want these 3 triangle sections on both sides to be in the areas you expect raid bases to be. And then we can start raising up some frames. So from the gatehouse, we're going to raise up frames like this. There'll be windows on them. We can also raise frames all the way through from the middle. Here, here, and here. And you can half wall that so it matches the height. And these bring up. I know you can't fly. It's going to be more annoying without it, unfortunately. And then we bring frames up through the middle here for Patricos. And we can do that 4 more times. So I'll do that very quick. These towers, of course, could have gone down at any stage into the build, but they're up here. And if you wanted to make these super early on, you could have thrown windmills here. And that gives you an early game windmill as well. So it's up to you if you want to do that. That's why it's important to practice and decide how you're going to do this. You could throw windmills here if you wanted on the early game towers, just like this. And then soft side them out when it's time to build higher. We can get these towers down, and of course, put them as early on as after high walls, or even before high walls. You could do that too. And these towers work super nice. And you can try the tech with the wooden windmill. See how that works for you too. We're throwing these towers down now just because we need them for shooting floor. If you're worried about giving grubs an advantage into compound, I would just add a little electrical branch here. Whatever component you can fit, just to prevent them from placing any twig on here and using that. Then we can raise up the frames from here, all the way up now to the max height. And we'll wrap these in too. Just half walling that. Put a little ramp there for aesthetics. Boom, and we can seal them up. We'll raise this up too. I know the frame part is not really too beneficial, just watching me fly around to place these. But there's no way I'm doing the vanilla method right now. And then I just line up here. And you pretty much just pause the vid, turn the smoke off so you can see. If you pretty much just go like that, and that's much more beneficial than watching me fly around and place the frames. Take a little screenshot there, throw that on second monitor. Once you've done that though, we can get some floors down. So these are going to come off of main. We're going to bring extra ones off of here like this. So everything's lining up. Very nice. All pretty decent stability up here too, which is amazing. There we go. Raise these in the middle. Nice, nice, nice. And that's all of our floors down. And then we'll get some windows down on here. So we're wrapping that in the middle. Just wall there. Frame and frame. Frame window again. Frame window again. And another frame in the center. Low walls on the front to keep our head safe. Like that. Over on this side, we do a couple of frames here. And then we wrap that in half walls. You want to make this brutalist if you can. Frames here. Half wall floor. Just like that. We can add frames here. And a roof exit there. Beautiful. Then we do the same. And then we can just add in the floors across here, so it's all squares now. Triangles do the middle. we go. And then ideally place these in here to close up any gaps. Like that. Then back up on roof, it pretty much repeats. We get the windows and we get the frames and the low walls. We get a little vendy here. And then it's back to windows. There we go. And we can do that over here too. Just like that. And then we can cap this over the top. Add in doors here if you'd like. Or you can trust the turrets and hope nobody's going to steal these when you're offline. There we go. Up here we do a little turret and there's 4 of these. And that gets a bit of chain link. We can throw a windmill on top of it in a second. And we get our windmills down now. For the peaks, a couple of ramps. And once you've done that, that completes the base design. Hopefully you boys and girls have enjoyed this video. If you did, then please feel free to leave me a like and drop me a comment down below. Remember to check out the Patreon for semi-private bases, or if you want to go for a full custom, join the Discord. And I'll see you boys and girls in the next video. See you in a bit.